Unfriended in 10 minutes. Here we go. So the movie starts off and we get the Universal logo, but it starts glitching. And you're gonna think like, what the fuck, is something wrong with my screen? Nope, my guy, don't worry, it's just the crew messing with us because this whole movie takes place through like a Skype call and it's awesome. So we see someone watching a video called Laura Barnes Suicide, which is, yeah, title explains it all. And then we see this person watching a different video called Laura Barnes Kill Yourself, in which a girl gets like shit-faced at a party and she actually passes out. And then we see whoever's filming this video like kind of zooms in on Laura's crotch area where she has clearly herself. And the words Leaky Laura pop up. And then we get a Skype call and this person accepts and we meet the whole group. So we meet Blair, who's our main character, and we're watching everything happen through her computer. We meet Mitch, who's Blair's boyfriend. We have Adam, we have Ken, we have Jess, we have Val. We also have this unknown person named Billy, and no one can seem to get Billy out of the chat. And they try multiple times to hang up. There's no hang up button. They try to like exit, call each other back. That doesn't work. Billy's still in the chat. So they decide just like, you know what, fuck it. It's just gotta be a glitch. We'll just keep talking. And earlier we had seen Blair talking to Mitch and they've been doing like a little tease. And then Blair had mentioned that she wants like prom night to be the night. That's important. And then suddenly Blair gets a message from Laura Barnes and the message says, "Hey Blair, what are you watching?" Because remember, Blair had just been watching the suicide videos. And Mitch is like, "Hey Blair, I also got a message from Laura Barnes. This is really fucked up." And they're going back and forth about this like on like Messenger Skype. And Mitch says, "I don't think it's a ghost," after Blair asks him that, because today is Laura's anniversary. And then Mitch sends Blair a link to something called Unexplained Forums. It looks like this. So Blair's freaking out about this, so Mitch is like, well, why don't you just like unfriend her on Facebook? And Blair tries to do that, but when she tries, the unfriend button is like grayed out. It won't work. But eventually she's able to do it by refreshing the page. And as soon as Blair unfriends like Laura's page, she gets a message from Laura saying, "You shouldn't have done that, Blair." Blair now goes to Google like how to report a Facebook profile that's hacked. And the first thing that pops up is this. So Blair now decides that instead of doing that, she's going to like create like a memorial page on Facebook. So she starts to do that. And to do this, she has to like go on Google to find like the newspaper of the events. And this is the first thing that fucking pops up. But Blair ignores that and decides to just like go on with memorial page. So she's finished it and she hits submit, but then she sees like a thing that says error on the screen. And when she goes to check it out, all of her answers in the boxes have been erased and replaced with the words "I got her" over and over and over again. And the group gets like a notification from Facebook because apparently Jess has like posted some pictures on Facebook. And when they look at the pictures, they see that it is Val wildly, like totally wildly drunk at a party at Jess's house. So Val flips out on Jess. She's like, "Why the fuck would you post that? I'm friends with my mom on here. Take them down now." And Jess is like, "I didn't post them, but I also can delete them." And Jess is like fucking trying to do this. It's not working, but finally she's able to delete the pictures. And as soon as she does this, they are just posted straight forward to Adam's Facebook. And now Jess and Val are fighting because one of them texted each other on the main Skype group chat text or whatever, calling each other a bitch. And someone's like, "I didn't type this." And it's like, "What the fuck? I didn't type this. I wouldn't call you a bitch. Why are you accusing me?" And then Blair somehow gets dragged into this and saying like, "I'm on Jess's side." And they're like, "What the fuck, Blair?" And she's like, "I didn't text that. Who did?" And Billy types up and says, "I did." And now everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? So they all put like their hands up in the air to show that they're not typing. And when this happens, Billy types again and says, "Problem, guys?" So this is like clearly not a glitch. This is like a fucking troll or whatnot. Now everyone starts screaming and Adam actually goes and gets a gun and like threatens Billy with it. I was like, "What are you gonna do, my guy? Shoot him through the screen?" That was actually kind of hilarious. And now Val threatens Billy, and so Billy like sends Val an email, and we don't see what it is because again, like we're seeing like all this through Blair's computer screen. And as soon as she calls the cops, she seemingly exits the call. Then the video of drunk Laura pops up and like keeps popping up all over the screen, and there's no exit button, so they can't get rid of it. They just have to watch it. We also see some comments on the video that actually has led to Laura offing herself. And now Ken, who's like a tech guy, sends them all a email with a virus on it, and he's like, if you download the virus, it'll kick off any troll on here. So they all start to do this. And there's a very tense moment where like Blair actually can download the virus and get it to work, because like there's so much stuff open on her computer and in her trash, so she has to like go through all that like in 15 seconds. But ultimately she's able to do it, and Billy gets kicked off. And then Val pops back up into the chat. But Val is like still as a fucking statue, I tell her. So at first I think that like her screen's kind of just like glitching. So Blair's like, okay, I'm gonna call her, and then they can see that her phone is like vibrating on the desk next to her. So like, okay, this is like, it's not a glitch, she's really still. And then suddenly Val just falls over, the computer crashes down with her, and the cops rush into her bedroom because remember, she had called the cops. And they yell out the police code for suicide. Billy now pops back up into the chat somehow and says that if any of them leave, she's going to kill them. And during all of this, Blair actually looks up into Billy's profile here, and it says that it is Laura's profile. So Billy and Laura are like on the same profile here. And Billy sends Blair a file titled Not Boyfriend, and when Blair opens it, it's a picture of Blair and Adam in bed together. This bitch was cheating on her boyfriend with her boyfriend's best friend. And still telling her boyfriend that she is a virgin. What the fuck? And then Billy's camera suddenly turns on, but turns on with a video of Ken's bedroom. And when Ken sees this, he puts his hand, like he's in a trance, he puts his hand in a blender, turns it on, there's like buffering, there's blood, Ken's screaming, and he actually slices his neck with the blade of the blender and offs himself. And now Billy says that they're gonna play Never Have I Ever, but in this game, the loser doesn't drink, the loser dies. Now, throughout this game, we're getting pretty fucking terrible questions like, never have I ever crashed Jess's mom's car, and never have I ever sold Adam out to the cops for selling pot. And it's totally terrible friendship stuff. This group is terrible. And Mitch had admitted to that last one about Adam, so to piss Mitch off, Adam takes the reins from Billy. And he says, never have I ever had sex. So Adam and Jess put a finger down, but the timer is still going, and finally, at the last second, Blair is forced to put a fucking finger down because remember, she fucked Adam. And through this, Mitch figures out what happens, and it is absolute fucking chaos. Then suddenly, stuff starts printing out of Blair and Adam's printers, and they're like, we can't show you, but the group's like, you have to fucking show us. And suddenly the peer pressure just gets way too much for Blair. So she reveals her note, which says, if you reveal this note, Adam will die. And then Adam like turns into a trance and he shoots himself with the fucking gun and is offed. Jess can't take any more of this now, so she jumps up and she hides in her bathroom while Blair calls to get her help on like chat roulette, if you remember that. But then Billy types in the chat and says, goodbye, Jess, and Jess cuts out of the chat. And when the picture with Jess pops up again, we see that she is offed in her bathroom with a straightening iron down her throat. What a way to go. Ugh. Now it's just Blair and Mitch. And Blair's like sobbing after all this went down. Mitch is like, I still love you. Even though you slept with Adam, I still love you. But then Billy starts another timer and asks the question, who posted the video? And Blair messages Billy/Laura privately, and she's like, it's not us, we didn't do this. But the timer's going down, and with only like 1 or 2 seconds left, she finally types, it was Mitch. Girl, you are a terrible, terrible fucking girlfriend. And now we see Mitch in a trance, and he takes a knife, and he slams it through his eye, and he is offed. And then we get the drunk Laura video again, and we see that it is Blair who filmed it. And the movie ends with someone closing the laptop, and then Laura Barnes lunges at the screen, and everything goes black.